With less than $12 in her bank account, she was a single mom who barely had enough money to buy diapers for her son. She went from being on public assistance to becoming a millionaire entrepreneur and best-selling author. For the past 20+ years, she's touched millions of people around the world with her inspirational words. She's Lisa Nichols, and here's my take on her top 10 rules of success, volume 5. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Be non-negotiable.
I wasn't supposed to be here by many people's standards. I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't qualified to be here. See, I was that woman on government's assistance in 1994. I was that woman on WIC, Women, Infant, and Children, in 1994. I was that woman that couldn't afford to put Pampers on my son, so I wrapped him in a towel for 2 days in 1995. I'm that woman. So what would get me to being a best-selling author, times 7 books, running a multi-million-dollar company, having my company go public 2 years ago, and going from Wayfair to Wall Street? It would simply be being non-negotiable. So I just stopped by to check in if you're willing to be non-negotiable.
Yes, yes.
If you're willing to stop asking the world for permission to be amazing, to be brilliant, to be divine. Stop asking the world for permission and begin today to give the world notice. See, Ajit says something's gonna happen to you while you're here. And I love that. Have an expectation on your life. You didn't come here for them to do you. Okay, Ajit, I'm here, do me. No, this is your life. Your opportunity. You're brilliant. See, the doors have been open, and now you dance to your rhythm, sing to your song, you play to your tune. And all you need to do is pick up a little bit here and pick up a little bit there, and then take radical action and become non-negotiable. Abundant thinkers live in non-negotiable. Average thinkers live in optional. Average thinkers live, I really would love to have a new business, but your behaviors are not congruent with what you say you would love. When you move from optional to non-negotiable, you've slid every other option off the table. I was interviewed 155 times in 5 months. And the number one question I was asked was, Lisa, how did you go from public assistance to going public? How did you go from welfare to Wall Street? How did you build a multi-million-dollar business? How did you do it? And I said, I just slid every other option off the table. Like I really did. I slid every other option off the table. There was no other option. Burn the ship. Burn the ships. Don't go back. There was no other option. I didn't even have a plan B. It's A, capital A, or baby damn A. But it's A. It's now or later, but I'm gonna get it. Once you get to that place, something happens. The universe aligns with you because you're so intentional.
Rule number 2, ignore what others think.
So many people ask me on so many different platforms, how do I find the courage to ... As if courage is something outside of you. You don't look under the pillow at home. You don't look under your bed. You don't look in the glove compartment of your car and go find courage. So let me just start off with saying you don't find courage. You cannot find courage. You choose to not allow the fear to manage your choices. So I know that sounds like that's just like want, Lisa, but I'm gonna always tell you the truth. If I told you how to find something, that means that you don't have it already. I'm not gonna tell you how to find something that's not lost. The reality is, when you are more consumed with what other people's perception of you than you are with your own truth, you will always feel like you're not enough. You will always feel like you're not enough. Because no matter how far you come, no matter how far you go, someone will always believe that there's further that you can go, which they're true. It's truth. So how do you manage, or how do you have the courage to have transformation without getting consumed with other people's thoughts of you, perception of you? You become more committed to your own transformation than you are to managing people's perception of your life. You become more committed to the joy that's your birthright, that you know is your birthright, than you are trying to manage people's perception.
Rule number 3, celebrate yourself.
You know, when I talk about celebrating the journey, that has many layers to it. Celebrating the journey, one, means don't wait until you've arrived somewhere to celebrate yourself. That's number one. It means that you're always going to be in pursuit of something. So don't wait till you arrive to acknowledge yourself. Don't wait till you arrive, because I still haven't arrived. Like, we don't arrive anywhere. Like, if you're waiting to arrive somewhere before you celebrate you, oh my God, it's gonna be a long, long life. Celebrating yourself along the way, inside the journey, it is as big as allowing others to celebrate your greatness. How many times do we minimize someone else's acknowledgement of us? You know, I hear it so many. I used to do it all the time too. People say, "Oh my God, you're so great." No. Like, you want them to run past the compliment. Like, you feel uncomfortable. Well, hold on. Celebrating yourself along the way, inside the journey, is allowing people to acknowledge you.
Rule number 4, set quarterly goals.
I like to set quarterly goals instead of annual goals. I like to make them a bit more bite-sized. Now, I start with a big, bodacious, scary, hairy goal, right? Then I immediately release that goal and chunk it down into 4 smaller goals that are bite-sized, digestible, and palatable. I can measure them every 90 days. You want to be able to measure, write this down. You want to be able to measure your actions, your goals, and your milestones every 90 days. When you do that, it allows you to see how close on path you are. Have you exceeded your own expectation? If you have a goal that this year, I want to make an additional $45,000, or I want to make an additional $100,000, and you get to the first quarter and you're $30,000 in, you know you're on path. However, if you have the goal over the year, I want to make an additional $100,000, and you get to the end of the first quarter and you're at $10,000 in additional revenue, you know you need to do something. You know you need to ramp up, or you know that this next season, this next time, I need to make sure that I'm doubling up on my revenue to hit that goal, versus getting to November and realizing that you're only at $35,000 towards your $100,000 additional revenue goal. Whatever your goal is, whether it's $100,000 or whether it's $10,000 or whether it's $1 million in addition, or whether it's new relationships, or whether it's a social media.
Also, if you want to learn how to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links are in the description below.
We validate who we are by what we're doing for other people.
I say if your knees aren't knocking and your teeth aren't chattering just a little at least, then you're not playing big enough.
It lands a little easier. I remember there was a time in my life when all I wanted was for people to accept me.
Rule number 5, have unwavering confidence.
I get kicked out of college. I got kicked out of college my second year because I didn't want to continue to run track. I took my team undefeated the first year.
Wow.
And they went from not having won a track meet in 2 years at all to going undefeated in 1 year.
If you could attribute what allowed you to lead the team to do that in 1 or 2 insights, what would it be?
I had unwavering confidence.
Did you cultivate that, or was it natural? Was it cultivated at home, or was it personally cultivated?
My dad and my mom, I don't know if it was brainwashed or encouraged me. I could do anything.
Yeah.
Like opposition didn't scare me. It never have scared me. Like, I don't look at how big the mountain is if I can climb it. I go, are we gonna climb it? And what do we need to climb that size mountain? You don't measure if I can do something based on the size of the opposition. You decide we're gonna do it and then decide what to do for that particular scenario. Very different strategy.
Rule number 6, act on your ideas.
If you have a lot of ideas, a lot of things that you want to do, write them out. And I make columns for each one. So I don't put them all together because they're each almost like on separate islands, which is why you feel so fragmented or overwhelmed or whatever that might be. So I make columns, and then I just put the idea at the top of the column. And I just write out everything that I have in my head about the idea until I feel like, whew, okay, I got that out. Once I have them out, then I attach a timeline to when I'm going to start it and ideally complete it. Now, let's be clear. The timeline of when you're going to start it and complete it are going to move. So don't get stressed out about the timeline. You made it up. I'm going to say that again. When you create a timeline, you made it up, which means you get to modify what you made up at any given time. But I give myself a start and a completion date. Now, here's the key thing. There are things that I give a start date to that I'm not even going to start for 2 years, for 18 months. Matter of fact, I'll do, like, let's say I'm in the second quarter of this year. I'll put in one of those columns, my start date is the second quarter of next year. So I know I'm gonna get to it. I know I'm gonna get to it. It's called, what am I doing now? And what am I not doing now? But I'm doing it, I'm just not doing it now. Oh, man, can I tell you, don't sleep on that little nugget right there. I learned that from my coach, Susie Carter, that there's your doing now, and then there's your doing, but not now. So it's on the calendar. Everything that you're doing should be on the calendar. There's the doing now. It has a place on the calendar that you're actively in. And then there's a doing not now because it's on the calendar. So I have some great projects I'm excited about. I don't start them for like another 10 months. And then I put all my other projects from these columns inside of these current 10 months. And so now you are doing it because you have a start date, but you're not overwhelmed with it because it's not all vying for your space and your attention in the now.
Rule number 7, own your brilliance.
How can you stay humble, as you amass more success? How can you stay humble while owning your brilliance? I believe that there's 2 very separate intentions running here. Number 1, own your brilliance. Don't question it. You don't have to grandize it. You don't have to highlight it. You don't have to have your brilliance and your talent spew over onto other people and minimize their greatness. When you live in your light, you don't have to promote it or diminish it. You simply live in it. I notice a lot of times when people are successful, they have a tendency to want to remind you that they are successful. They remind you in the way they speak to you. They remind you in the fact that they're always coaching you. They remind you in however the status thing that they do. To me, that's not owning your brilliance or your success. That's trying to prove it. That's trying to remind you of it. And a lot of times people want to remind you or prove to you something when they're still wondering if it's true. So number 1, own your light unapologetically. Like, don't try to dim your light, nor should you try to turn it up. Just let it be. Rise the tide from who you're being. Rise the tide from your service. When I say, nor should you try to turn it up, that's not saying don't tap into the greatest version of you. That means don't artificially try to turn it up so everyone in the room knows that you're great. You don't have to do that. You don't have to say it. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to try to remind me of it. Just be it. But by the same token, don't try to hide it.
Rule number 8, practice active self-care.
Practice active self-care. That means you're not talking about the spa that you want to go to. You're not talking about the nap that you need to take. You're not talking about the weekend you want to get away to. You're actually doing it. So I want you to take a moment to reflect and identify what rejuvenates you. Now, it's not always something huge, something big, something ginormous, but it's something that allows you to write this down, recalibrate your energy. What keeps your energy in calm? So many times we're working out of anxiety, need, or stress. Stress is the number 1 killer. It's the number 1 robber of life and joy. What do we do actively? What do you do actively that will rejuvenate you? What's available to you? I want you to write down a strategy about how and when you'll make time for self-care during this busy time.
Rule number 9, cut away the weeds.
I made the best decision I could based on what I knew in that moment. And when I know more, I'll do more. When I know better, I do better. And I'm going to love me in every moment. When I look back at the decisions I made 10 years ago, some of the people I dated, some of the money I spent and what I spent money on, some of the places I went, I go, what was I thinking? And the answer is I made decisions based on what I knew at that time. I'm outside now and you can hear the gardeners in the background. They're cutting away trees. They're cutting away dead limbs. They're cutting away old grass. They're mining the weeds and pulling things out, just like we should do in our lives. And some of those things that we should take away are the fear of people's thoughts of us and what those thoughts are going to show up as in our lives. Listen, what I know, I love the sound of all the machinery in the background because that reminds me to trim away, to cut away, allows a space for new things to grow. So sometimes you have to cut away the need to be liked by everybody. The need to manage everyone else's perceptions and thoughts of you. You have to cut it away, like those gardeners are cutting away dead leaves, like those gardeners are cutting away the weeds, the things that grow in between the beautiful grass, in between the beautiful flowers. There are things growing up inside. That's what's happening in the middle of your transformation. Other people's thoughts, other people's inconvenience. People want to hold you hostage to the person they've always known you to be. What are these new thoughts you have? What are these new things you're doing? We don't know you this way. Go back to the old you. No. Be more committed to the you that you're becoming than you are to the you that they're familiar with.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is manage your relationships well.
Over the years, I've had to learn how to disconnect myself from people, how to pull away, how to move on, without what I call Benihana-ing people. Now, I don't know if you remember, but if you ever go to a Benihana restaurant, they have those sharp knives and they kind of go, and you don't even know that the zucchini is like all diced up until they move it and then everything is cut apart. Well, I used to have a habit of like cutting people off so well, so fast that I felt like I Benihana them. Like they didn't know they were like all sliced and diced until they went to walk away and their head fell off and then their arms fell off. And over the years, I had to learn, how do I complete? By the way, I would say, don't break up with people. Don't break away from people. Don't stop being their friends. A better mindset is recognize when the relationship is just complete. Now, I say complete with me. When I say complete, that means the relationship has had every experience that it needs to have. You've done everything you need to do, and it's just complete. So you don't have to make people wrong. That was a big lesson for me, because we're taught that in order for relationships to end, someone's brains need to be splattered on the ceiling. Well, the older, wiser me recognizes that I can end relationships from people who I've outgrown, or people who might be toxic, or people who are just not a fit for me, and also leave their dignity intact. Key word. I want you to write that down, type that in chat, because there is a way that you can complete with people. Notice I'm using these key words with you. You can complete with people, meaning every experience that we need to have, we've had. And now I'm complete. That you can do that and leave their dignity intact. You can say this relationship has run its course. You don't have to outline everything that's not working, because you know, when we outline things that are not working, all we're doing is making people wrong. So let me just say, the way you complete a relationship is to first check your ego. Because your ego, or ladies, your she-go, whoo, they will get in the way, and what you want to do is point. I'm done with you because of this, and this. And we all know when you point one finger over there, the three fingers point back at you. We've all heard it.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Lisa on how to be a disruptor that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. What weeds in your life do you just need to cut away? Number 2, how can you practice active self-care? And number 3, what idea do you have that you just need to act on?
I would hear people tell me early on that I had a lot of potential. And I gotta tell you, that word would drive me crazy.
Yeah, you're like, what?
It would drive me crazy. Potential told me you're gonna be someone really amazing.
One day.
And off in the future. But right now, like you're so loser.
Rough, yeah.
You're so like a version of yourself. And so I wanted to constantly begin to see, who can I be? I was tired of people saying, oh, you got a light butt. Oh, you could be a good speaker, but oh, you have good words, but you're a weak writer. You should be a good speaker, but you know your conversation's too edgy. You know, I got a D- in speech because he said my conversation was too edgy. No, I just got the wrong teacher. I got the wrong teacher. So who I am is a change agent. I am a disruptor. That's what I've been designed to be, as a disruptor. not in a disrespectful way, in a way that doesn't make you feel good, but in a way that makes you challenge and question and look at who you're being in the world and how can you be bigger, greater, bolder. Like, and I didn't know I was a disruptor. I was just disruptive.
If you want more Lisa Nichols, check out the other top 10 rules video I made on her. The link is right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I'm an average, ordinary mom who said, I want to drastically transform my son's future.
The power of I am, the power of I am.